Hello Internet, coming here to talk to you about Ranger Condi Axe Torch and Shortbow. One of the most important traits in this build is Quick Draw. When swapping weapons, the next Ranger weapon skill you use will recharge faster. This means the first skill you use when you do a weapon swap is really important, so you must pay attention to that and make sure you always nail that first skill. So, which two skills are we going to be using on our weapon swap? First one is going to be Bonfire. Set a fire around you, damaging and burning foes. This is on your Axe Torch. Every time you swap into Axe Torch, use Bonfire. Whenever we swap to Shortbow, we're going to use our number 2 skill, which is Poison Volley. Fire a spread of 5 poison arrows, and the poison lasts longer if the target's hit from behind. Generally, when doing this build, you want to try and be behind your target as much as possible. You have traits that also support this notion. So let's check out the other skills we're going to use. We've got Crippling Shot, which does bleeding, cripple and immobilize, and our auto attack, Crossfire, which does bleeding. Don't use any other skill unless you need the CC, everything else is just damage. We're trap wise, we've got Flame Trap, which does burning, we've got Viper's Nest, which does poison. We have Sharpening Stones, which gives us some bleeding stacks. We have Entangle, which gives us bleeding and immobilize, just use that off cooldown. We've got Bonfire, which does burning, Throw Torch, which does burning, Split Blade, which does bleeding, and we've got Winter's Bite, which does bleeding, chilled, and weakness. Our auto attack does some damage and also stacks some might. Our pet F2 skill, which is the Lynx, is going to do some bleeding. To use this build, we generally want to be getting a nice flow of skills on our weapon skills and filling in between with our utilities. Let's check out the rotation now slowed down. So the first thing we want to do is we want to pop all our utilities quickly. So I use my pet F2 straight away, and I use my Sharpening Stone, my elite skill, and both my traps. Then I pop number 4 on Shortbow and number 2 on Shortbow, and then I weapon swap. This is just an intro, this is just the start of the rotation. Now we're rotating. We always do this pattern 5, 4, 2, 3. That means we're going to do a Bonfire, we're going to throw a torch, we're going to do a Split Blade, and we're going to do a Winter's Bite. Always do that same intro when you enter Axe Torch. Auto attack in between. And what we're looking for is any skills that come off cooldown, we want to use them. Prioritizing weapon skills. So if we get a bit of a conflict, we want to go for the weapon skill mainly. Unless we're about to weapon swap, in which case it's not going to mess with your cooldowns. So Split Blades come off cooldown, so we use that. And Bonfires also come off cooldown, so we can follow up with that one too. Auto attacking all in the meantime. Winter's Bite's soon going to come off cooldown, so we will use that as well. A bit slow on it, but there's Winter's Bite. Winter's Bite comes down. Split Blade is ready, so we can use Split Blade. You can see that Throw Torch and our trap has come off cooldown. I quickly use the trap and then Throw Torch because I'm going to swap weapons when I use Throw Torch. And we always swap weapons once we've used Throw Torch and we have the ability to swap weapons. We immediately use our Poison Volley and then Crippling Shot. So always number 2, always number 4, and then we go into auto attacks. When we're ready, fill in with any skills that come off cooldown. So Poison Volley is off cooldown, and then our Viper's Nest is off cooldown, so we can use those, and then fill with auto attacks. We will reach a point where things magically line up. We're going to have our Poison Volley and our Crippling Shot ready and weapon swap ready. So we're waiting for that. In the meantime, we just keep on auto attacking, and soon our Sharpening Stone is going to come off cooldown and various other skills too. So Sharpening Stone's off cooldown, so we can just use that. So now it's time to get ready for weapon swap. We're going to use our Poison Volley, we're going to do Crippling Shot, and then we're going to weapon swap. And we're going to use the magic combo as mentioned before, which is 5, 4, 2, 3. We've got a few skills off cooldown now. We've got our trap. We've also got our pet F2, so we want to get those nice and quickly. Auto attack in the meantime, whilst everything else is off cooldown. Split blade's about to come off cooldown, so we use that. Bonfire's off cooldown, so then we use that one. Winter's Bite's off cooldown. We're going to prioritise that one first, then we're going to go for the Viper's Nest. And Split Blade's ready. Throw Torch is nearly off cooldown, which means we're nearly ready to weapon swap into Shortbow. So we're going to use our Throw Torch and we're going to weapon swap straight into Shortbow. And we're basically doing the same as what we did before. We're going to use our Poison Volley, our Crippling Shot, and then back into auto attacks. So that's a general idea of the rotation. You want to be keeping a nice clean flow of skills being used on your weapons and fill them in with all your utilities in between. So let's check that out on full speed. So we pop all our utilities, we do a couple of bow skills, then we weapon swap, and we do our magic combo, which is 5, 4, 2, 3. Use skills on our weapons as they come off cooldown, and fill in with any utilities. When we get to Throw Torch, then we weapon swap. We'll go and use our number 2 and 4 skill on Shortbow. Auto attack and use any skills in between. When we get to the point that both of those skills off cooldown, then we can weapon swap again back into Axe Torch. That's pretty much the rotation, just takes a bit of practice. Once you get used to pressing 2-4 on Shortbow and 5-4-2-3 on your Axe Torch, it will be pretty easy to flow, but takes a bit of practice getting used to begin with. So good luck with your practice.